Good morning, Bronzo. Good afternoon. Good evening, depending on when you're watching this feed. If this is your first time here, welcome. My name is Frankie Olivo. Our program focuses on the very important issues that are affecting our local community. We have shed light on injustices, and we've allowed for our platform, this mic, to be that of the voice of the people. Now, if this is something you can see yourself supporting, well, we ask that you join the cause. Currently, right now, this live program is being streamed across all of our social media platforms, and we encourage you to follow them. We could be found on X, formerly known as Twitter, and Facebook under Frankie Olivo. Make sure you follow our personal page on Face. We could be found under Olivo Frankie. But more importantly, if you haven't already, make sure that you create a Gmail account, go to YouTube, like, follow, and subscribe to our channel titled Frankie Olivo TV. It's free. Remember, I will never ask you for money. I will never ask you for food, my community. All I ask is something very simple. Like, comment, and share this live feed, but more importantly, make sure that you're subscribed to our YouTube channel titled Frankie Olivo TV. As of late, our Facebook page is at risk of being taken down. The powers that be do not want you, the voter, to know the truth. But remember, we will not be silent. So if you're really about the cause and you want to stand up to corruption and you want to hold our elected leaders and those in leadership positions accountable, join the cause. Make sure that you subscribe to all of our social media platforms. And remember, Good Morning Brownsville will come on Monday through Friday at 9 a.m., sometimes a little bit after, religiously. So make sure that you're subscribed to YouTube TV. Thank you so much for your patience. And as always, we are forever grateful to each and every one of you for the time and attention that you provide us. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much for that. How we doing, chat? How we doing? Happy Thursday. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Toys in every store. How is it for you? Are you starting to feel the holiday joy? Or maybe like us, we're just hoping to get by. Right now, ladies and gentlemen, is a time where many people are anxiously anticipating Christmas Eve and the festivities. School for the majority of the Rio Grande will be out tomorrow with early release. The kids will be out for 2 weeks, so good luck. We hope to have a cold Christmas. Unfortunately, we possibly won't see a snowy one, possibly in another 100 years if we're lucky. Again, if you've been following the platform, this program, tomorrow will be the last day that we talk politics, because it's the holidays. Nobody wants to talk about politics. If those people that are actively campaigning during the holiday weekend, to no avail, people won't be receptive. If you go knocking on doors, people don't want to hear about politics. Either you're going to bring them a gift or I'll talk to you later. Lend me your business card, but they'll never get back to us, right? And I think this program is something similar. We're very thankful that we have been given an opportunity by our community to come before you. I find great joy every morning knowing that people tune in while they're having a cup of coffee on the way to work or dropping off their kids. So I have an important task today and tomorrow to provide everything that we need to talk about. We will come on next week, but it's just going to be about life, I guess, because I don't want to bore you. We may throw a story here and there, but we're going to save all our ammunition come the new year. And if you've been following our program, we are ready. We're anxiously waiting because we are 60 days away from the start of early voting. And we've been talking about how we will be actively involved in certain races. For today's program, we're going to focus on the 107th Judicial District Court race. It was one that I wasn't personally going to dab into. I was going to wait, but things have its way of working themselves out for better or worse. So for today's program, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be talking about the three candidates that are vying for this position. And again, from here till Election Day, we are going to present you with information. We want you, the voter, the constituent, to have everything in front of you before you cast your ballot. And if you study politics, everyone knows some races possibly are already cooked. They're already people already have an idea. It's been speculated that people monitoring the congressional race for the GOP primary for the District 34 already are anticipating Mayra Flores to be in first, according to some polls, with Scott Mandel out of Nueces County to come in second. Insiders say that there is a large margin between Mayra and Mandel. Other races as well. Another one that we've been talking about previously is the Democratic primary race for the treasurer. That one's going to be highly contested. We're going to focus on that as well. But for today's sake, we'll be talking about a very, very important position. We titled our program, "If she couldn't handle a justice of the peace position, what makes us think that being a state district judge would be the same?" And that is how we will start today's program. Thank you so much for tuning in, Brownsville. And now a word from our sponsor.
I've dedicated my life to public service, but now I see a county that's ready for change. It's time to bring accountability, transparency, and efficiency to how your tax dollars are managed. We can lower taxes and make government work smarter for you. I'm Jonathan Gracia, and I humbly ask for your vote for Cameron County Treasurer, so together we can build a better future.
When we talk about a state district judge here in Cameron County, well, a judge serves as the presiding judicial officer of a district court and is responsible for making sure that they hear a broad range of serious legal matters under Texas law. I'm very proud to say that I served a state district judge, and I am very proud of the time that I spent in Cameron County because I feel as if I grew a lot. There are things that I learned working in the judicial system that I'll carry with me forever. It's something that I can always go back to and state that those were my best years in my young life. Working for a state district judge wasn't easy. What I loved about it was that I felt as if it was a high stakes game. Whenever I think about judges and attorneys, I think very highly of them. I would compare them to doctors. We go to them whenever we have problems. They ultimately are entrusted by us to provide a service to solve our problems. And it's kind of like eat or get ate type of profession. It's cutthroat. Being with attorneys, man, you're talking about dealing with smartasses. People that are going to show you, try to prove to you, make arguments for or against. And for some people, it's constant back and forth. And the judicial system, it's funny because you win, you lose, and then it goes to appeal, and then you're back to square one. It feels like a yo-yo. And many of these victories are short-lived in regards to cases. And depending on whatever issue you are dealing with, whether it's immigration, that has been a hot topic as of late with the recent deportations by the President Trump administration, or possibly it's a divorce case, a criminal matter that we have to go before the courts, the judicial building. Working at 934 East Harrison Street for me was my proudest years. And I worked with amazing people, some people that I still have friendships with. Well, these judges, whether at the district or misdemeanor court, they handle criminal cases, civil disputes. The ones for this story, the state district judges, well, they handle felony cases, murders, robberies, aggravated assaults, drug possessions. Very serious cases, civil disputes such as divorces, breach of contract, child custody cases, civil cases involving high monetary amounts. Some possibly may see juvenile cases, and we have judges for juvenile and also mental health commitment proceedings. In carrying their role, the state district judges, they rule on pretrial motions, they preside over a jury and bench trials, they interpret and apply state law. It ensures that defendants' constitutional rights are protected. And whenever needed, the judges, they do impose sentences or issue final judgments. These judges are elected countywide. A Cameron County State District judge ultimately plays a critical role in maintaining the fair and efficient administration of justice for this community. Whenever we talk about a state district judge race, it doesn't happen too often. I don't want to use this analogy, but whenever I think of a state district judge vacancy, I think of something such as a Supreme Court. It's something that happens every, 10, 20 years? The judge position, in my eyes, could be seen as an honorable one, a commitment to serve the community. And they do serve a decade, possibly more. So whenever for these positions to be up for grabs, it's kind of a big deal. These individuals yield so much power and they're able to influence our local streets. Are we going to have a judge that is easy on crime, that is going to focus heavily on making sure that our children are safe? One case in particular that has gotten the attention from the community is the former educator coach out of Rivera High School who pled guilty a few weeks ago. In return for his guilty plea, he will be sentenced to 5 years probation. The judge could possibly give him 180 days, 6 months of county jail as a condition of probation. Now, as of right now, sentencing is set for January 14th, but all eyes are on that case. And many people have asked, will the judge accept the agreement by the state of Texas and the defense for 5 years with 6 months? Now, again, the judge does have discretion on whether to make sure that the defendant serves those 6 months or whether he rejects it at all. So all eyes will be on that case in particular on the day of sentencing. Well, this race is going to be very important because we have 3 qualified candidates that are making their pitch to the constituents of Cameron County. Well, for this race, for the Democratic primary, to be their judge, to serve their community. And each one of these candidates has its own background and attributes, and they're making their case why they deserve our vote. Could the county be better off with one or another candidate? Possibly. It depends who you are rooting for, who you're throwing your support behind. There is no question that running a county-wide race for a state district judge position is a big deal. They don't come up very often. They get paid close to $200,000. It's a very prominent and honorable position. Today, I wanted to focus on this, ladies and gentlemen, because we are 60 days away from this Democratic primary. And again, our function here isn't to sway your opinion. We pride ourselves on just giving it to you how it is with receipts. We strongly believe that if you, the voter, have the good, the bad, and the ugly, you will be able to make your own decision on who you're going to support based on whatever qualities you feel merit the position of a state district judge. When we look at Jesus Chuy Garcia was one of the latest. He was the last judge to announce for his candidacy. And this was up in question for a while. Previously, Judge Garcia served as a justice of the peace for the San Benito Harlingen area. And when he ran, he told his community that he was the right person for the job because he had a legal background. He went to Texas A&M. He got his degree at Texas Southern from Thurgood Marshall. He was a former ADA, a prosecutor. And then he eventually served in the misdemeanor and in felony court. He ended up winning his election. He did win the March 2018 primary. And in a three-way race, he was impressive. He won without a runoff. Chuy Garcia is someone that many people rally behind. He is young. He is experienced. He is ambitious. Everyone that I've talked to has nothing but great things to say about Judge Garcia. The big question mark that people are asking, and he did run unopposed in 2022. He did bring in 2,600 votes. One thing that many people have been questioning in regards to Mr. Judge Garcia is, can he win a race being from the San Benito Harlingen area? When you really think about it, Cameron County, the crown jewel is the city of Brownsville. We have the largest registered voters. I guess if they come out and vote, right? But going up against two Brownsville attorneys, critics are questioning, can he win this race? Now, in a three-way race, the way it goes is strategically, all you wish for is to be in a runoff. Anything could happen in a runoff. We have talked to you about previous cases. The last one to come to mind was Eddie Garza and Manny Trevino in the sheriff race. Eddie Garza was leading in the primary. In the runoff, Manny Trevino ended up winning. Another interesting case is the tax assessor collector race, also a three-way race. Tony Izaguirre, who served the county for decades, was in a runoff with Eddie Garcia, former BISD board member. What did we see from that race? Same thing. Tony Izaguirre was leading the primary, but the runoff, Eddie Garcia won the election. Why? Because anything could happen in a runoff. Just because you were leading in the primary doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to win in a runoff. It's hard to get people out to vote. You have heard time in and time out in regards to this idea of Cameron County. Maybe it's a statewide issue. Maybe it's a country issue, but there's voter apathy. For whatever reason, people just don't go out to vote. Maybe they'll go out for a presidential race. Maybe. It's only us nerds that are actively involved because we feel as if it's our civic duty to partake in the elections and, our voice, our vote. But for the most part, in a runoff, anything is possible. Is Judge Garcia, banking on just making the runoff, not being from Brownsville? Now, again, these individuals, again, attorneys and judges, I think the world of these individuals, just because they're from, let's say, San Benito, doesn't necessarily mean that they can't win a Brownsville race. We have seen in previous races that hasn't been the case. It helps to be from Brownsville, right? But when you think about these judges, they are helping people from all over the valley, all over the state, and even outside. So these people have connections, they have relationships, they have fostered, established long life relationships with people from all over the county. So maybe, just maybe, it wouldn't be a far-fetched to have Judge Chuy Garcia as the next state district judge for the 107th District Court. Anything is possible, right? A big topic of discussion was when somebody was curious, because we have seen Judge Chuy posters throughout the county for a while now, and this isn't out of line, so to speak. This is normal, especially whenever you serve or when you are an incumbent for a certain position. We see how people try to promote either their office, their position. This one in particular was a sign that if you're going to downtown Brownsville, or if you're going to the courthouse on Harrison Street, you see a big lot. And now that has been a place, and it's very visible from the expressway. This sign in question said Judge Chuy. And in all fairness, the sign did say, thank you, veterans. But insiders were already questioning, is Judge Chuy Garcia going to throw his hat in the ring for the 107th? The 107th District Court is a court that Judge Benjamin Uresti, had served for decades. A very well-respected judge who previously served in his constituents in Cameron County. He's up for retirement. People are already asking, wow, I think Chuy's going to run. I think Chuy's going to run. And for legal purposes, he couldn't promote himself in the sense of making the announcement that he was running for the 107th District Court. It is against the law. You have to step down whenever you declare candidacy for another position, especially one like this. The most recent one that comes to mind was Eddie Garza as well. Eddie Garza had won, so far he's won 3 countywide races, 2 as district clerk and 1 as the sheriff. What we saw from Eddie Garza's second term at the helm of the district clerk's office was that he resigned, I believe, with 2 years in his term. They did find a replacement, Elvira Ortiz, who did serve the district clerk's office for many years. And Eddie Garza stepped down so he could focus, so he could campaign for the sheriff position. Well, Chuy, he was promoting himself, but just using judge, which was, was smart. The community had a question. Good morning, Frankie. I have a question. What's up with this Judge Jesus Chuy Garcia signs up throughout Cameron County with his picture and not saying what he's running for yet? He has been to events where he is presented as a candidate for the 107th Cameron County District Court, but has not announced. Is this correct? Or he won't announce because he is still working as Justice of the Peace in San Benito? Can you please help us, citizens that are confused? Have a blessed day. People knew what he was doing, but technically he couldn't say, I'm running for the 107th, because he would have to have stepped down from his position. Now, he didn't make the announcement at the beginning of this month, and he did have a good crowd in support for his candidacy. Many insiders, the biggest question mark that they have for Judge Chuy is, can he force a runoff? Does it affect the candidate to announce his candidacy at the very end? the way it works usually, and this isn't a given, but usually the way it works is once these positions start opening up, these attorneys or these politicos in general, they start reaching out to their friends, to their colleagues, and saying, you know what, I'm considering running. Can I count on you for support? Can I count on you for a donation? And they test the water to see how strong they are. Because at the end of the day, you don't want to run without knowing, right, that I have a legitimate shot. I think that's fair to say. By Judge Chewy announcing, being the last one to officially announce, does that affect his candidacy in some way? Was he able? Does he have the ability to portray himself as somebody that is needed within our county? Again, all these three candidates are very well respected. They have the experience, the knowledge firsthand. Cameron County would benefit from each and every one of their services on that bench. But that is a question critics are asking for this candidate. Does it affect him that he was the last one to announce? Again, he was subliminally under the table gathering support. That is a big question that many people are asking. Does it affect Judge Chewy being the last one to announce? Would he be competitive in the Democratic primary? Again, the goal is just to make the runoff. If you make the runoff, hey man, it's un volado. It's a toss-up. Anyone has a good chance to win a runoff. The next candidate, Noe Garza. Noe Garza is the husband of Adela Kowalski Garza, who is a current judge for Cameron County. Noe Garza is relying on his 39 years of experience, and he's making it known that experience matters, especially when dealing with these serious cases. And I don't mean to blow smoke or be biased. Well, he did serve as my attorney, but you can ask people throughout the county, and Noe Garza is a very well-respected litigator. He is feared within the district attorney's office. They know that Noe Garza is a high-profile attorney. He's got a track record that speaks for itself. Whenever you talk about community involvement, there's no question. The Garza family has constantly give back to their constituents. And when we think of the Garzas, you know, they're always having posadas. They're always having campaign events at their ranch. How many people haven't befriended them throughout the years? How many people has Noe Garza served in those close to 40 years as an attorney? He has possibly helped the lives of thousands of people throughout his tenure here serving his constituents. And this race is going to be very interesting. We called the Cameron County judge race the three-way race as well between former Sheriff Eddie Garza, Port Chairman Steve Guerra, and current County Judge Eddie Trevino, the thriller in Manila, because we anticipate that that's going to be a heavyweight bout. Well, this is one of the same. People have been noticing that Noe Garza is spending money. And whenever the Garzas play, you know, they play to win. We saw that no resource was left unturned in Judge Adela Kowalski Garza's campaign. And many insiders are saying that with candidate Noe Garza vying for the judge position, it is no different. Speaking to insiders, again, being from Brownsville, having close to 40 years of experience, many people are giving the nod to Noe Garza as being in the lead. How do you feel about a state district judge position? We have someone that we previously talked about, Chuy Garcia, who's in his mid-40s. has been practicing since 2011. (2006) as an ADA. How do you feel about somebody, a young 45-year-old, 40-year-old attorney, former district attorney, now justice of the peace? Noe Garza also served as an ADA during his time when he was barely starting and making a name for himself. But Noe Garza is a high-profile attorney. If you were to ask people, who would you, the top 5 lawyers, and with all due respect, that have been practicing, attorneys, Noe Garza, Stapleton, Nat Perez, Rick Canales, and there's a few out there. And Noe Garza is one of those. Ernesto Gámez, I apologize. Those individuals are creme de la creme, high-profile attorneys that have made a name for themselves bringing justice to their clients. How do you feel about an individual that has tentacles throughout the county? Him and his family have actively been giving back, that their focus is 40 years of experience, that he will best serve our constituents, his constituents, moving forward. He's been a prosecutor. He is a defense attorney. He's an advocate. He says that he's ready to bring the experience in the 107th District Court for a justice system that is fair, that is efficient, and is grounded in the law. Those are very powerful words, because whenever we think of a judge, again, we think the world of them. We want them to be able to provide justice to people impartially. We want things to be fair. There is no doubt in my mind that Noe Garza is very well respected amongst his peers. What we have seen from his candidacy is that's what he's relying on. That's what he's banking on. For a justice system that is fair. And that's very important, because whenever we talk about judges, well, we want them to, it's like Lady Liberty, right? We expect Lady Liberty to hear us and not judge us based on our status within society, our color of skin, whether we're poor or rich. Usually, the facts speak for themselves. And we hope that a judge could be impartial and fair and honest before his constituents. Ultimately, that is something that we all ask for. And that is something that Noe Garza is making it known throughout his candidacy, throughout this campaign. A prosecutor, defense attorney, an advocate, 39 years of legal experience, ready to bring that experience into the 107th District Court for a justice system that is fair, efficient, and grounded in law. That's very important. How do you feel about a candidate asking for your vote? Having 39 years of experience, does that make a big difference to you? To many people, they would say yes. Now, the last candidate, unlike the others, does come with baggage. Erin Hernandez Garcia and her family have been in politics for a while now. Now, we have discussed the two men. I have asked, and there is nothing people can say or corroborate in regards to the previous two men that we discussed, whether they had anything that was going to come up and affect their candidacy, that was going to derail their campaigns. For the most part, they have a clean background, well respected amongst their peers. We can't say the same for the woman in this race. And this isn't nothing personal. This is just information. At the end of the day, we want you to know the good, the bad, and the ugly. With all that baggage, is Aaron serious about running? When we talk about Hernandez family, we cannot talk about the powerhouse that they once had, that they're trying to reclaim. The Hernandez family has been well known throughout the county. Ernie Hernandez's father did serve as the Precinct 2 commissioner for some time. What we saw from his tenure, he came out on the news for all the bad reasons. A grand jury did indict Cameron County Precinct 2 Commissioner Ernie Hernandez on multiple corruption-related charges. The Cameron County District Attorney's Office, they did make an announcement in regards to the indictment. 2 counts of abuse of capacity, 1 count of misuse of official information, 2 counts of witness tampering, 1 count of tampering with a government record, 1 count of obstruction or retaliation, 1 count of coercion by a public official. These were very serious charges. And back in the day, this made the press because the story was crazy. Ernie Hernandez did end up pleading guilty to these charges. And in return for his guilty plea, he did step down as the Precinct 2 commissioner. What happened in this case showed us how a family, according to many critics, had taken control of local Cameron County politics. The story, or the reason why Ernie Hernandez Sr. was arrested, was because of having his brother-in-law helped with a civil service exam. The way it works is, to work for Cameron County, you have to pass a test. I believe the state district judge staff, possibly the misdemeanor staff, don't, but every other employee for Cameron County does. And it was alleged that the brother-in-law couldn't pass a test. So the Hernandez's first assistant either took the test or had somebody take the test, and ultimately it came back to Ernie Hernandez. What have we seen from this family? They have gone to great lengths to establish themselves, to entrench their fingernails in the county. Now, Aaron Hernandez has won a race for Justice of the Peace in 2012. In 2012, she did win the runoff race against Yolanda Begum. And this was a highly contested race because, again, according to records, Yolanda Begum was in the lead. It wasn't until the runoff that Aaron won by 150 votes, give or take. And many people questioned and said, oh, the reason why she won was because of the politiqueras. If you look at the mail-ins, they had a lot more. When you look at the mail-in vote, look at that. Is that a big discrepancy? Many critics say yes. Not just that, but they were accused of being part of something illegal. They're being accused of rigging elections. People that they were associated with were charged. Now, that was the time where the Attorney General's office, the state of Texas, they started putting their eyes on Cameron County. And there have been many stories that of illegal voting, people using the elderly, the disabled to vote, that they were incapacitated. It goes on and on and on. Well, Aaron Hernandez Garcia's team was accused of just that. They were accused of coercing the elderly. Now, to be fair, Aaron Hernandez Garcia wasn't implicated directly, but it was known that she herself benefited from this. Now, what am I going at? What do I want to show? What do we want to show? What do we want to talk about? Well, that this candidate does have baggage. The family, the machine, were accused of coercing the elderly to vote. That's a big no-no. Now, these races are very contested. And again, a lot of power and money is invested in these types of races. Now, the role, the race that Aaron Hernandez Garcia won was for Justice of the Peace. And the functions of Justice of the Peace, they perform a variety of judicial and administrative functions at the local level, primarily handling low-level legal matters. The Justice of the Peace do preside over justice courts where they hear misdemeanor cases punishable by fines, such as traffic violations, small claims, civil disputes, often involving a limited dollar amount, evictions cases, truancy matters. They could also conduct magistrate duties in some counties. They could possibly issue arrest warrants, setting bail. Justice of the Peace, they may perform marriages, and in some circumstances, they may inquest into unexpected or unattended deaths. Overall, the JP does play a key role in providing accessible, efficient justice within their communities. Remember that word, efficient. Because, well, during her tenure as a judge, as a Justice of the Peace, well, she was accused of being the total opposite of being efficient. Now, in politics, especially at the courthouse, or in politics in general, it's a cutthroat. It's very, I like you, I hate you type of relationships amongst these attorneys, amongst these colleagues. Again, it's a high stakes game. Lives are on the line. And what happens is that things get very personal. While business is business, people still get their hearts or their feelings hurt. If you aren't aware with the dynamics of politics here locally, the Benavides family, the Sorolla Benavides family, and the Hernandez Garcia family they're at odds and have been at odds for quite some time now. Attorney Luis Sorolla filed a complaint in regards to a case that he was looking into. it is stated that former Judge Sorolla was requesting some documents from then Judge Aaron Hernandez Garcia's office. And for whatever reason, it was denied. Hey, I'm requesting a copy of an original petition. And the office of Judge Garcia refused to provide a copy. Why? Isn't this public information? Isn't the quest of a judge to be efficient, to be impartial, not to hold clients accountable for their attorneys? That's what we want, right? Well, according to that document, that wasn't the case. Why? Because of personal vendettas. How do you feel a judge, a state district judge, should be? Liberty, impartial, efficient, in every sense of the word, right? Well, not just that. Keeps on getting worse. The way it works is whenever someone wishing to marry, they have to get a license from the Cameron County Clerk's office. They have 72 hours from when they get the license to when they could wed. Now, there are cases where judges are able to waive that 72 hours. The only reason that I could remember during my tenure under a state district judge was whenever somebody was leaving for the military or was an active service member. A state district judge listened to the parties, and if they found that they merit that waiver, that state district judge would sign. Unless I'm wrong, unless the legal eagles on here could correct if I'm wrong, that is one of the only things that I have heard of. A state district judge could waive that. Now, we spoke about the functions of a justice of the peace. The justice of the peace, reasons why it is a very lucrative position. It's because, one, they get paid very well. I would dare say now it's closer to the six figures, if not more. But also a primary and a major reason why people want to become justice of the peace is because they could marry couples. I saw this firsthand with my predecessor. They charge anywhere for $100, $150, up to $300. It's a very lucrative gig. What was happening in Aaron Hernandez Garcia's court was something that many people, many insiders were scratching their head. A complaint was filed against Judge Aaron Garcia because there was this immigration case that came up. And what happened was that a couple was in the process of acquiring their legal status, their legal residency. They did file a lawsuit in federal court charging that Justice of the Peace 2-2 Aaron Garcia Hernandez was selling them a fraudulent 72 waiver period waiting form that may put their residency application in danger. Can you imagine that? The plaintiffs in this petition, in this complaint, they did file their lawsuit pursuant to the civil rights and RICO statutes. They did state that they presented themselves for a marriage application and that the judge, Garcia Hernandez, told them that they could be married immediately because she had the authority to legally grant them a waiver of the required 72-hour waiting period. Here you have an attorney, a judge, telling a couple, hey, you have immigration issues. I'm a judge. I'm an attorney. I could help you. I could waive the 72 hours. You could get married now. Well, she didn't have that authority as a justice of the peace. She was sued in federal court for this. When we really think about it, insiders were saying that she was charging not only for the services of performing a wedding, but also she was charging them for the waiver. Usually, whenever a court with the authority to issue a waiver, it puts $237 into the district clerk's coffers and they file it in open court. The waiver by Garcia Hernandez was not filed with the county clerk's office, and there was no record of them in the clerk's archives. What ended up happening, ladies and gentlemen, was that they were charging money and there's no record of it. So people were saying she's charging for the 72-hour waiver, that she has no authority to do so, and then she's charging for the wedding. What is happening? Why is this happening? And yeah, you guessed it, it gets worse. She was accused of fixing cases, of taking bribes. Whenever we think of a state district judge, what do we think? We think of Lady Liberty. We think of someone that's going to be fair, impartial, that is grounded in the law, that will not use the position to benefit them. Is this who you want as a judge with multiple question marks? Someone that has baggage? Someone whose family has been accused of corruption? She herself has been questioned whether her legal authority, if she was able to do that in her capacity. Common knowledge was no, she wasn't in her capacity to do so. You would think that an attorney, being a justice of the peace, would be able to look into that matter before actually charging people, right? But that is something that the voters have to decide. From here till March the 3rd, we will actively be monitoring this case. We will remind you the good, the bad, and the ugly, because this is a very important race. This is one that will have a profound impact on the Cameron County communities for years to come. Usually, these positions are rare. Every 10, 20 years is when they usually open up, possibly longer. Judge Uresti, I believe, served for more than 2 decades. This is a big deal. We presented the 2 men that have a solid background. Chewy is a justice of the peace, young man, great credentials. Noe Garza, 40 years of experience. One thing that stuck with me was that what Noe Garza said, efficient. You need an efficient judge. Someone that's going to be impartial. Someone that's going to be grounded. someone that's going to be able to provide the constituents, the residents of Cameron County, an experience that brought the justice system that is fair, efficient, and grounded in law. What happens is that these people are asking for your vote, but do you know exactly what they have to offer, what their qualifications are, what their background is? At the end of the day, Cameron County voters will decide in the Democratic primary. We have less than 2 months. We're 2 months away, my people. From here till then, we will cover this case and others closely. We feel as if you, the voter, should know the good, the bad, and the ugly. I'm not here to sway you. I'm here to give you the whole enchilada. Whatever you decide to do with it is totally up to you. We have Kenya Garcia saying she's the most unprofessional and unethical person ever. She doesn't deserve that position. Is that a sentiment that you share as well, viewer? Could you see yourself voting for someone that has many questionable question marks? Has her previous conduct as an attorney, as a justice of the peace, has that made her worthy? She comes from a family that's been accused of corruption. She herself has been accused of accepting bribes. She has been sued in federal court for affecting an immigration application for a couple that she waived the 72-hour restriction to get married quickly. She double dipped. She charged them for the 72-hour waiver, and then she charged them for the wedding. Is that who you want on a state district judge? There is no doubt that Cameron County, the future, all lies in this case. Because whenever we talk about a state district judge in Cameron County, they serve ultimately as the presiding judicial officer of a state district court that is responsible for hearing a broad range of serious legal matters under Texas law. They handle felony cases, major civil disputes, family law matters, divorces, child custody, child support enforcement. In carrying out their role, these state district judges, they rule on pretrial motions, they preside over a jury and bench trial, they interpret and apply state law. They ensure that defendants' constitutional rights are protected. Can we say that about Erin Hernandez Garcia? Does she protect her client's rights? She affected the livelihood of that couple in their immigration application. Elected countywide, a Cameron County State District judge plays a critical role in maintaining the fair and efficient administration of justice for the community. Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel titled Frankie Olivo TV. Best believe Good Morning Brownsville will come on Monday through Friday at 9 a.m., sometimes a little bit after, religiously. Make sure that you subscribe to our channel. Thank you so much for your time and your attention. Be sure to meet us here tomorrow at 9:30. As always, thank you for your patience and your time with me. My name is Good Morning Brownsville. Peace!